Hi, everyone. Welcome. I'm Brian Gallagher. I'm an investor relations associate here at F Street. In today's Investor Roundtable, we're going to be going through our investor portal and the value our investor portal gives to our investors. We really like this tool. It's through a platform called Agora. We think that the communication, the transparency that it improves for our investors and gives you live time data into your transactions, the offerings that we have. Past investments you've made. It handles all of our tax documents, as we know the tax season is coming up for the tax year 2024. So we're just going to be giving a little tour and showing the different features that are within the investor portal and why we believe that those deliver a ton of value for our investors.
Hey everyone, my name is Mitch Ferraro. I'm the Investor Relations Manager here. As Brian had mentioned, we're going to go through our investor portal. This is a great portal for anyone to use that is an investor of ours. What's the biggest thing that you want to take out of today's whole webinar is that it is very, very simple to use. We've built a lot of time and resources into this investor portal, and we want to make it super simple for our investors to, one, invest with us, and two, to be able to see where their investments are at. So we'll go through some of this stuff today. As always, if you ever have any questions during the webinar, please feel free to chime in, or after we'll give our contact information where you can connect with us. But thanks for being here. We really appreciate all the investors that are here. As always, I give kudos to everyone that's always trying to learn more about their investments. So thanks for being here.
All right, great. Well, I'm going to share my screen with the group now. We're going to start at fstreet.com. This is the best way to access your portal. Unless you have it bookmarked, then that might be better. So if you're at fstreet.com, there's a lot of information about the company here. There's some investment information, but we're going to want to get into the portal. So if you have an account, you can just click sign in at the top here. If you don't have an account, you're going to want to click join. We have an account, so we're just going to log in right here. Had it open in another tab. So this is your main dashboard right here. This is going to tell you about all the investments that you're in, as well as give you some banners for some upcoming investments, and as always, our private debt fund. So within here, you can see the total amount you have invested right here, the total amount you have been distributed. And now this number is broken into two different sections. One of them is your capital returned. So that's the actual money that you put into the deals that we're giving back to you. And then the return on capital right below it is going to be any interest income that you might have from the private debt fund or any preferred returns that you earn on our deals. So our development deals generally have a 7 or 8% preferred return. Our industrial deals generally have a 7% preferred return. So any income that you're making off of that is going to be your return on capital right here. And then your equity balance here is the amount of dollars you still have in the deals. So that's going to be your total investments minus your capital returned is going to be your equity balance. Your portfolio allocation here, just a pretty simple little pie chart that shows all the deals you're in and which deals you have the most exposure to. We also have our distributions over time. So you can see, as time goes on, we're, distributing more and more, through rent growth and refinances and, really just optimizing all of these offerings. As you scroll down here, we have, investments. This is going to show some of the investments you're in. Recent updates is just one of the spots that you're going to be able to find, investor updates. We try to update our investors quarterly, or when there is material information to share. We like to be very transparent with our investors. We want you guys to know what is going on with your investments, whether that's an upcoming refinance, a new lease that's getting signed, or any other business plan related changes or updates that we can provide.
Yeah, and I just want to give one point here on the equity balance. It's not removing your equity from the position; it's just paying down the balance. So I just wanted to confirm that you're not losing equity in these deals. Your equity is still in the deal off of that equity balance sheet.
Yeah, great point, Mitch. So if you invest, say, $100,000 into a deal, and if that deal gives you a 1% ownership, even if we pay back half of that, you still are a 1% owner, and your cash flows are based off that 1% ownership within that specific deal.
Yep.
So moving through our dashboard here, profiles. So you have your account, which is associated with your name, and then there's going to be different profiles. So a lot of our investors have, say, a personal account, and then some might have in addition to that, a self-directed IRA or potentially a family trust or an LLC. So you're able to invest through these different entities, and all of them are held on the one account. We really like this because, like I said, a lot of our investors have more than one way they invest in these deals. And this keeps them all on one account, and it's very simple. So if I want to just view, one profile, you can click one profile. If I want to view all of them together to see a really all-encompassing view, I can click all the profiles. And you can do the same thing with the investments you're in. You can combine them. You can, show one or two of them. You could show just multifamily developments or just industrial developments. It's really up to you. Next tab here is going to be My Investments. So this is going to show you all the investments that you're in, whether that's the private debt fund or our equity offerings. Transactions page here is going to show all the transactions that you have over time. Generally, when we have a transaction, there's also a document that goes out with it. It's just a distribution notice. So as this loads here, just waiting 1 second. So documents. This is a really important page. All of the investor updates are going to be housed here. All of your tax documents, your K-1s or your 1099s are going to be housed here. Any ACH forms, subscription agreements, other offering materials, they're all going to be housed in this documents page here. And again, if I just want to see my tax documents as April comes closer, I can click here, and then I'll have my Schedule K-1s and other tax documents all in your documents page on the investor portal.
Yeah, and one thing that with the transactions as well, it does inbound transactions and outbound transactions. So it's going to show all the history of everything that you've done inside of the investor portal. Also, too, you're going to be, these documents are super sensitive. They're your signatures. They're your documents. So it's very secure. We do have you log in every single time when you come into the investor portal. So just know that whenever you're logging in, this is your personal sensitive information.
And we're going to move on to offerings here. So the offerings page is going to show all of our active offerings. So as I mentioned before, our private debt fund, it's always open. It's always open for new investments or recurring investments. If you want to invest in the private debt fund and you haven't yet, this one down here is going to be the one for you. Just the plain old private debt fund, 10% annual interest. It's great. Now, if you're already in the private debt fund and you are thinking, hey, I really like my 10% annual interest, I like the monthly payments, you can click in this banner here for the additional funding. And if you've been receiving your 10% annual interest in the monthly installments as distributions, and you decide, hey, maybe I want to reinvest those on a month-by-month basis back into my private debt fund account, this banner here is going to be the switch to compounding. So a lot of our investors, we opened that feature last year. A lot of our investors, enjoy having that because they want maybe some funds within the private debt fund to be distributing and some funds to be compounding to really grow that account.
Yeah, one of the things I do want to mention too is that our investors they'll come into our private debt fund. They want to get a feel for us. They want to get to know us a little better, make their initial investment. And as they start seeing that monthly income come in every single month, they say, hey, I do want to invest more money. I do want to continue to receive those payments. This is why it's very easy for you to just go inside your investor portal, literally click the Invest Now button to the additional funding and add funds to the private debt fund. And as always, when you add funds to the private debt fund, you're literally just adding for that one amount, and we create a new year note for that one amount. Your old maturity date for the initial investment still stays the same. So we make it very, very easy. And then again, at some point in time, if you feel like, you know what, I'd rather compound that interest every month and have my money grow faster, you go to the switch to compounding feature. You can switch into compounding, and you also can switch out of compounding as well. So if you are receiving compounding interest, every single month and you want to start receiving distributions every month instead, that's where you would go to go ahead and start receiving those distributions. So we try to make this very simple for the investors. And again, this is your one-stop shop for everything that comes with investing at F Street.
Great. Thank you, Mitch. And we're just going to move through the rest of these other investment offerings. I want to touch on the 1031 exchange. So this is not one specific offering. It's more of an indication of interest or a potential upcoming 1031 within an investor's personal portfolio. A lot of our investors do own real estate on their, within their own personal portfolio, and a lot of times they realize the management of these assets. It may not be as passive as they thought, and they want to sell and 1031 into a more passive investment. So if that's something that fits a situation that you may be in, this 1031 exchange opportunity is going to let us know on the investor relations team that, hey, you might have a 1031 opportunity coming up that you want to put into maybe a development deal or an acquisition for some upfront cash flow. We really try to work with all of our 1031 investors to find a solution that's going to fit their investing goals and really replace their personal property with an investment that is really going to crush it for their portfolio. And then up here, we have 3 more offerings. Maysville is already full. It is an industrial acquisition in Maysville, Kentucky. It's a fully leased building. It has great cash flow. If you wanted to invest, but you missed the chance, you can still click invest on this one, and it's going to allow you to put a soft commitment, and it's going to let us know to put you on the wait list for future industrial opportunities. Our industrial opportunities, we have a very big pipeline of them. We have a few deals that were, within a week to 2 weeks of launching. So stay tuned for those. F Street OCLV MF3 is a multifamily development. If you'd like to invest in this one, it's a great deal at our Lakeshore Commons master plan development right on Lake Michigan. The Invest Now or the Learn More button are going to be a great way to start there. I'm going to pass it on to Mitch here. Mitch is going to talk about getting accredited and how it's built into our system, how easy it is for investors to, if they're new with F Street, how easy it is for them to get accredited to allow them to invest in our deals.
Yeah, thanks, Brian. So this is one of the biggest things for any investor that comes into any of our portfolios here or any of our investments at F Street. You do need to be an accredited investor. An accredited investor is just their financial guidelines that are set by the SEC. The SEC basically says you can come in as an accredited investor through your net worth or through your income. If it's through your net worth, you have to make $1 million or more, but you cannot, your net worth has to be $1 million or more, but it cannot include your primary residence. If you don't meet that financial benchmark, you can use your income, and your income has to be $200,000 a year or more for the past 2 years if you file your taxes solely. If you file your taxes jointly with the spouse, you have to make over $300,000 a year or more. And again, it has to be for the past 2 years. So we do a verification process for this. We have to do this. We're regulated by the SEC to do this, and we have to use a third party to do it. One way that I'm going to show you here is to go through a company that we use called Parallel Markets. This is free for you to do. You can use any third-party accreditation company that you'd like, but we go through Parallel Markets. Again, that's free if you go through it. If you go through another company, they range from $30 to $100 to get accredited. But you can also, if you don't want to go through Parallel Markets, if you have a licensed CPA, if you have an attorney or a licensed financial advisor, we can provide you with a one-page template that they can sign off on your accreditation, and we can receive that. And whenever you are verified as an accredited investor, you then can invest with us for the next 5 years. So the accreditation process is a very important process. It's very easy to do. It takes about 5 minutes to get accredited. After you upload all the documentation needed, it takes Parallel Markets about 1 day to verify the information. And again, once it's verified, we are notified, and then you can invest with us for the next 5 years. So on the offerings tab in your investor portal, which is right up on the top right here, you'll see, again, there's the Get Accredited portion. You'll just click Invest Now, and then it'll ask you what type of entity you want to set it up with. So you just click Continue, and it'll move you to this page on fstreet.com. And it'll basically ask you, in order to invest, please select an existing entity or create a new one. So I'll just create one for myself here as an individual. This is also where you would select if you're going to do it through your self-directed IRA, or you're going to do it through an LLC or through a trust. This is where you're going to create that entity or have that entity set up already. So you go ahead and, for me, it says Mitchell Ferraro as an individual to get accredited. Click next. If you have an amount that you're initially thinking that you're going to invest, our minimums typically here are $50,000. So we'll just put in $50,000. This is not making an investment for you. This is just indicating what you're possibly going to be investing with us. So we'll click next. And then it'll say to get accredited now, click here on the right side. And now this is actually going to take us to parallel markets. So we say get accredited now on the next screen. And then we can say get started. And now we're with parallel markets to get started with them and getting accredited. So here you're going to put in your name, your email, and your last name. So we'll just go ahead and put in your name, your email. And then it's going to have you confirm an email. And I won't go through exactly everything, but now what's going to happen is it's going to give us a verification code through our email. And then from there, you're going to start uploading documents, either that either shows your net worth or it shows your income. Your net worth can be from like an account that you have. There'll also be a free credit report that you fill out. It's not a credit pull or anything like that, but it'll pull up all your liabilities. And then parallel markets will verify your assets minus your liabilities and that your net worth is $1 million or more. If you're going to go the income route, they're going to ask for W-2 information. You upload your W-2s to the site. And then once that information's all set, it'll go to parallel markets. And again, it'll take about 1 business day for parallel markets to actually verify that information. And then once it's confirmed, you'll receive an actual verification letter, and you can use that letter, which is really nice about this whole process. You can use that letter for any platform that you might invest in that needs accreditation. So once we have that letter, then you'd go in and you can invest in any of our offerings here at F Street.
And Mitch, one thing I did want to mention was if you have multiple profiles, as we mentioned, a trust, an LLC, a self-directed IRA, and maybe just under your personal name, you only have to get accredited once. So the accreditation process, well, it does just take about 5 minutes, and it's quick, free, and easy. We don't want our investors to have to go through that more than once. So if I invest through my name initially and I get accredited, I have my letter of accreditation, and then I decide, hey, my next investment I want to put in an LLC, I do not have to get that accredited as well. So this is just one thing that you have to do, and it'll last for the next 5 years.
Yeah, that's a great point. I think it's super easy to do just the one time, and 5 years is a long time, so you don't have to go through this process again until that time.
And we'd like to open the chat for any questions you may have about the portal. We'll stay on for the next few minutes. We'd love to cover any questions or comments anybody has.
Yeah, and I just want to point out one last thing here is that, the best thing about fstreet.com and the portal is that, I know people love calling me and love talking to me and they want to hear my voice, but we set this all up so that you don't have to do that. You can do this all on your own. It's very easy to do, but we are here every step of the way. So if you do need our help or you do need a little information on how to get to the next step, that's what we're here for. But we've made it simple so that you can do this all on your own and invest with us on your time frame. So again, we've invested a lot of time, resources into this platform to make it very easy for you as the investor. And we love it when investors come on and are able to use it seamlessly. So as Brian mentioned, we'll kind of wait here a couple more minutes for any questions that anyone may have. Again, if there is any questions after this webinar that you want to reach out to us, you can reach me at Mitch, M-I-T-C-H, at fstreet.com. You can also reach Brian at Brian, B-R-I-A-N, at fstreet.com. We're here for you guys. Again, would love to get you a part of F Street if you are not a part of F Street already. And if you are, we thank you so much for being a part of our team, our family. We love all you guys. You're the reason why we're here. So we have any questions?
Yes.
All right, so how quickly does the portal update? As an example, I've made a commitment to F Street Maysville, but haven't transferred funds yet. Is there a timeline for the portal to update? Yes.
Yeah, that's a great question. I'll answer it because this is on the equity side. So for F Street Maysville LLC, if you have signed your subscription documents and you have done the transaction authorization form, but we have not pulled the funds yet. Generally, we wait till we receive the funds, and when we do that, we're going to create the actual position. So from our end of the portal, from the admin end of the portal, you're under an offering right now, and your offering is complete. And then once we receive those funds, which is likely to be at the end of this month or close to the end of February here, we will go in, we're going to create your position, and then we'll send out an update around the time of closing, which is going to be sometime at the beginning of March on the Maysville building specifically. We'll send out a closing investor update and lay out how closing went. And I can give you some updates on Maysville right now. Our team actually flew down there this morning to get boots on the ground and to see the asset and meet the tenant. And all news that's reported back so far from that trip has been positive. And right now we're just progressing with our due diligence. Everything's been coming back clean so far, and we're excited to close on this. But you'll see that actually update within your account once we receive those funds, and then you'll start getting those quarterly and when necessary updates after that.
Yeah, one other thing that I'll point out about getting your position created. So when you actually sign up for our investments, there's going to be an ACH authorization form that you have. And on that ACH authorization form, you can let us know if you're going to be wiring the funds to us or if we're going to do a one-time ACH pull for the investment. And you'll actually give us a date. If we are going to do the ACH pull, you'll give us a date on when to pull those funds. When we actually pull those funds, or when we receive those funds, that's when we will make the position. So typically, even if we receive the funds and it's before closing, you'll still see your position once funds are actually in our accounts at F Street. So that's one thing that we like to do a lot too. Is the ACH pull is very easy for the investors. It's free. We take care of it. You just let us know when we want to pull, when you want us to pull it.
We had another question. One investor had trouble logging into this Zoom call, so they missed part of the presentation. The question was, will there be a recording sent out? Yes, generally with these investor roundtables, we do post them to our YouTube channel as well within a few days or right away. And so you'll be able to find that at youtube.com. If you just search F Street and go to our account, you'll be able to see this investor roundtable as well as past ones and other webinars. And we're also going to email everybody. So we'll make sure that if you only were able to attend part or if you signed up and missed, that you're going to get your eyes and ears on this presentation.
Yeah, so Richard asked a really good question here. He said, any advantage or disadvantage to invest in a property early in purchase or at the end of the project? So this is actually an investor preference. So some investors like to get their money to us right away before we close, maybe a month or so before we close, because they want the money out of their account. They want to know that that money is with us so that they don't overdraft or overdraw on that account. So some investors will send us the money right away. Other investors may hang on to their money in a money market account, and then we'll actually do a call for when we want those funds for a particular project. So for example, Maysville, we're going to be wanting funds by February 28th. Some investors have provided their funds already for us. Other investors are going to wait till the 28th. We'll make the call and then we'll pull the funds right on the 28th. So it's really an investor preference if you want the money to us right away so that you don't overdraft on an account, or some investors just say, hey, you know what? I just want this money out of the account. I want to know that it's invested. Other investors say, hey, you know what? I've got mine in a money market. I can pull it in and out whenever. I'm making 4% on that money right now. And you guys just, I'll put it into the account that I want to pull from on the 28th. So really investor preference, and whatever is good for you is good for us.
And then we have another comment. It's not really a question. So we appreciate this comment. I use this portal, and I have to say it's probably the most intuitive and easy to understand portal ever. Thank you for that, F Street. Thank you for the kind comment. And we have to say, if you guys ever have any feedback on the portal, any nice touches or improvements that you see on the user end and the user interface, let us know. We have a great relationship with Agora. We're constantly providing them feedback and ideas of how we can display investment information and provide real-time updates and really make it, as you said, intuitive, but continuing the improvement of the platform. 1% every day is going to really result in like a long-term great and just fantastic product.
Yeah, and Greg is a real person. That wasn't us that made that comment. So just so you guys know, that is a real person that is providing that comment to us. And yeah, I just want to encourage everyone too. Like if you're on this call and you're considering just possibly investing with us, sign up for the portal. It's free. It gets you used to the user interface that you would be using if you invest with us. And if you get signed up for the portal, just get accredited. It's free. And guess what? You get to use that accreditation for any other platform that you want to invest in that needs accredited investors. So that piece of paper that you're provided by Parallel Markets, you can use that for anyone, for any other investment. So I say get signed up, get accredited, and then if you're kind of trying to figure out if these make sense and you want to talk more or dive in a little deeper than just a webinar or what you see online, set up a time with myself or Brian to talk, and we can talk you through all the different investment opportunities. We truly believe in them. We truly know that they are great investments. And you can talk with us to see if this is a good investment for you.
And we have another question that just came in. The question is, if I have funds in the private debt fund, but my year is not up, can I use those funds to buy into a different project or an equity deal? The short answer is maybe. We take these by case by case. We'll bring it up to Scott and say, hey, this investor has this amount in the private debt fund. They're looking to move this amount into the the Maysville deal or OCLV MF3 or another offering that is really attractive to them. And we want to do two things. We want to stay true to the promissory note that we enter into with our investors, but we also want to be making sure that investors have a portfolio that's fitting their investor goals. And so we try to stay flexible, but we also do like to see that full year up before we transfer. But if that's something that you're ever considering, again, reach out to Mitch or myself, and we're happy to have a discussion and see if we're able to accommodate that request.
Yeah, that's great. All right, we have another one. Perhaps you could just apply any funds that are sent to you in advance of closing to your fixed fund. When the closing hits, just take it from there. So that is a great comment. The thing is that the fixed fund is meant to be a 1-year hold. So the 1-year hold in the private debt fund, we do that because in the private debt fund, our average loan time to our borrowers is about 327 days. That's why we have the year period for the private debt fund, is we want someone's money to go through one full loan cycle that it's typical for the private debt fund. We don't really want to just be moving money in and out of that fund on a go as needed basis. So and also too, the private debt fund is a liquid fund. So if we're moving funds of investors in and out of there without that year hold period, it's just harder liquidity. There could be liquidity issues for us, and we just want to keep that fixed at that 1 year. So great comment, Alan. Honestly, it's been a conversation that we've had a lot before, so I really appreciate it.
So we're gonna stick around here for another few minutes. If you have any more questions, about the portal, the private debt fund, or any active offerings that we have, Mitch and I are gonna stick around for the next few minutes. But we wanted to thank everybody for joining this week's Investor Roundtable to go through our portal, our accreditation platform, and spend a few minutes with Mitch and I this morning.
Yeah, thanks everyone. We really appreciate the time today. Again, you can reach me at mitch@fstreet.com. You can reach Brian at brian@fstreet.com if you want to take some questions offline. Again, if you're a part of our investor team and our investor family, thank you so much for investing with us. You're the bloodline of the business. We really appreciate that. And if you are considering investing with us, we'd love to have you join fstreet.com, get accredited. Any other questions, please feel free to reach out to us. We really appreciate you guys.